Hi everybody, this is Mr. Rancourt. Let's begin with writing some vocab. The first thing I need you to do is, we have cell on the front page, but we have a cell on the back page, so just cross through the second one because you don't need it. Okay? And then you're going to need a highlighter too, so make sure you have one. And let's do some writing. Here we go. So we've been talking about living things, and we know that an organism is a living thing, and that's what I need you to write right here. Ready? Feel free to hit pause or rewind anytime you need to. I'm going to go a hair fast just because I have to make this video in 15 minutes or less or I can't post it. Next one, cell is the basic unit of structure. The basic unit of structure in all living things. In all living things. And I'll try to write a hair neater, I apologize. The basic unit of structure in all living things. Unicellular, uni meaning one, means it's made of one cell. Made of one cell. Okay. For example, like bacteria, and I want you to write this down. For example, like bacteria. Bacteria are generally unicellular. Okay. Multi, meaning more than one. You can underline that for me. Means it's more than one cell, or consisting of many cells. More than one cell. Okay. And these would be, like, an example would be like a human. Trees have more than one cell. A dog has more than one cell. Hopefully you get the idea there. Okay? Let's do stimulus real quick. So a stimulus is any change. You're going to have to write small here because we have a lot to write. Any change or signal. Any change or signal in the environment. Any change or signal in the environment that can make an organism. Any change or signal in the environment that can make an organism react. For example, like light. When you turn off the lights, turning off the lights is the stimulus. The response would be that your eyes dilate, your pupils get bigger, right? And when we turn on the lights, your pupils contract or they shrink, to let less light in because there's more light in your environment than what you need. So your pupils are essentially contracting to kind of reduce the light that's coming into you, so it doesn't hurt. Another one is temperature. The stimulus can be temperature. For instance, if you step outside and you're not wearing a coat, you might start to shiver. Shivering is the response. The stimulus would be temperature. Cool. So therefore, a response is any action or change in behavior. Any action or change in behavior as a result of a stimulus. So, like for example, your eyes dilate or contract. Okay, or if you start to shiver or sweat, depending on how cold or how hot it is outside. Okay. All right. Now here comes a critical one that I need you to know: spontaneous generation. So we know that living things come from living things, right? Like you come from your parents. You're obviously a living thing. You come from your parents that are living things. We know that a baby elephant comes from a mama elephant or its parents because both are living. But at one point in time, scientists didn't believe that. Yeah, they didn't have enough evidence. They weren't able to see that cells actually grow and to split apart. And so there was this mistaken idea. I want you to write this mistaken idea, what I call fake news, that living things came from non-living things. That living things came from non-living things. And you're going to learn when we start to talk about Francesco Redi and Louis Pasteur that many people thought that when meat started to decay, that the meat actually decaying would like create maggots. And we don't believe that. We know that maggots come from flies. But before, they had no idea because they couldn't see the eggs that were being laid because they're so small. So they just assumed that they just kind of magically appeared, right? And we know that's not to be true. We know that that's not true, okay? So that's this idea, this mistaken idea that living things came from non-living things. Let's go to homeostasis. So homeostasis is the condition in which in organisms, that's possessive organisms, internal environment, INTER, that's an R, sorry you can't see it, NAL, internal environment is kept stable. Like, for instance, if you were to step outside and it was 100 degrees or like 110, like your body isn't going to just immediately heat up, right? That's because your body has this built-in mechanism to keep it cool as long as possible. Conversely, or oppositely, like if you step outside and it's 30 below, your internal temperature will stay at 98.6 for a little while, quote unquote, a little while, because of this whole idea of homeostasis. It likes to keep things stable, right? Flip it over real quick. Let's do microscope. Hey, a microscope is an instrument. An instrument that makes small objects look larger. And that's a very simple definition, and that is literally the definition right out of the book. An instrument that makes small objects look larger. Okay? Last one, cell theory, is a widely accepted explanation of the relationship between cells and living things. A widely accepted explanation of the relationship between cells and living things. And the first part of cell theory is, you already actually know it, it's that all living things come from living things. And so, there you go. Sorry, I was in the middle of a thought when I was saying that. All right, so here's what I need you to do next. I need you to highlight some main points to this, yeah? Okay, first of all, pick up your highlighter. So I need you to remember that an organism is a living thing. Just highlight the whole thing, because we can't really shorten that. It is what it is, right? And of course, the highlighter's going out. Pause 1 second. I may have to just underline. Okay, I'm going to underline, and you're just going to highlight. Sound good? Maybe. Let's do it in red so you can see it. Okay. A cell is the basic unit of structure in all living things. Highlight that. Basic unit of structure. It's like the bricks to a house, right? We can't form a house unless we have bricks. Well, you can't form a human being or an elephant or a dog unless you have cells. Cool? Unicellular is one cell. Multicellular is more than one cell. Stimulus. Underline this or highlight this. Any change or signal that can make an organism react, such as light or temperature. A response is any action or change in behavior as a result of the stimulus. Remember we said, like, if we turn off the lights, your eyes are going to dilate. If we turn them back on, they're going to contract. If we make you step outside and it's really cold, you should start to shiver. If we make you step outside, if it's really hot, you should start to sweat. Okay? Stimulus versus response. Cause versus effect, for those of you that want to think of it like that. Okay? Spontaneous generation is this mistaken. Can you circle that with your pencil first before we highlight? It's this mistaken idea that living things came from non-living things. We can't really shorten that. Okay? Homeostasis is a condition in which an organism's internal temperature is kept stable. Condition in which an organism's internal environment is kept stable. Environment. Cool. Last one. Microscope. There's not much that we cannot underline. It's an instrument that makes small objects look larger. Yeah. And cell theory is this widely accepted explanation. In other words, scientists believe this. That talks about the relationship between cells and living things. And there's 3 parts to that cell theory, and I'm going to teach you those. You already know them. You just don't realize that you know them, but we'll talk about them at a later date. All right, so when you're done with all of this, when you have marked all of these, or when you have written all this down and you've highlighted, come see me. Cool? Thanks.